Okay, can you see that now? All good?
Everybody can see it, yeah.
Okay. Okay, Hannah, you ready?
Yeah, I already started. Did nobody hear me?
No, sorry, I went down. Sorry, carry on.
Okay. Cornelia, I introduced myself. I'm the director of the year abroad. Cornelia, it's your turn.
Yeah, sorry. So my name is Cornelia Nelson, and I work with Faculty of Humanities and Social Science doing the employability modules.
Yeah, next slide, please. So just briefly for those of you who are not in languages, so there are 3 year abroad pathways that our students can do, or all students at the UK universities can do. A study placement at partner universities. So every university has specific partner universities. Students can go to teach English in any country in the world, including Canada and whatever, through the British Council. Or they can go on a work placement abroad. Next slide, please. So the year abroad is assessed. For the last years, we followed a more transitional assessment pathway of lengthy written projects of 2,500 words per semester. A few years ago, we added the reflective part with the objective that students are aware of the skills that they achieved that can be transferable and useful for a future career in view of the job market. So things like problem solving, resilience, time management, and of course, communication. We kept the research project for those who prefer the research topic in depth. However, students opting to do so have continuously decreased over the years. Next slide, please. So the year abroad is 10% of students' degree. That is a little bit unusual in the United Kingdom because more universities opted to pass-fail assessment, but our students in the staff student liaison committee emphasize that we do want it to be assessed because it motivates them more to do that. However, many students on a study placement were complaining that their grades are usually lower than the grades of students on a teaching or work placement. So we decided on a new assessment where 50% is assessed by the partner university and 50% by the University of Liverpool. And for this, we have actually changed the year abroad assessment towards something that's more geared toward employability skills. And with that also comes in the AI. Next slide, please, Cornelia. So we developed a new assessment strategy, which is more career focused and which strengthens employability skills. We added and we wanted the students to increase their confidence in working with artificial intelligence. Last but not least, we want to evaluate strengths and weaknesses regarding AI before and after their mobility. This is where AI plays a crucial role, as many employers expect students, but in particular language students, to be able to use it properly and efficiently. Our emphasis is also to use it ethically. Cornelia, over to you, please.
Yeah, so just from how I was brought into this, so from an employer's expectation, some of these stats I'm sure you'll be very aware of, but we're very aware that employers that come and visit the campus, speak to us, need the students to be aware of just how much AI and big data is going to be a reskilling and the confidence that students feel. So we knew that the students needed to be able to have that kind of confidence in using AI in a creative way, or have that kind of tech literacy and being able to adapt in using the different types of AI platforms so that they could help the employers and industries basically develop and use innovative solutions and remain basically critical to what it is that the students could have. So we have tried to prepare the undergrads as best as possible. And when it comes to language students, obviously the outcomes that I kind of said, there has been confidence issues in terms of what kind of roles they go into. So by helping them develop confidence and meaningful experience using AI, we were hoping that we could prepare these undergrads so that they feel confident when they enter the world of work. So really kind of honing in on analytical thinking, tech literacy, and that all important adaptability with using AI platforms. Hopefully, as I say, equipping these students to kind of thrive in what's going to be a very tech-driven future, but most importantly, have that confidence in using it in a way that is only going to help them develop and be useful. So in terms of this particular assessment, we have used Copilot, and the idea of this is because, again, like Hannah said, these students go to many different countries and obviously have to study many different languages. And what the challenge was, we were trying to find a way that we could have AI assess the accent, the style, and grammar that these students were speaking in without obviously human intervention. So the students will have to create a video. This transcript is then downloaded. It is then copied onto Copilot with a prompt that I have created, and it helps assess and give us the information that we need. The students then have this information where they then have to reflect on what feedback they have been given through Copilot, and say how they're going to potentially, obviously, use this information to continue to improve and what they do next with this information. So basically what we're doing is we're encouraging them using AI in a way that is informative, but also helps them develop further. As far as this, as Hannah mentioned a lot, is about evaluation. The main thing that we really wanted to do is make sure that we measured from the very beginning how confident they feel in using AI and why it's important to give them that context, but also when they finish this module, how has that increased? How has that, moved forward, or has it not? Where are the gaps still in them feeling confident in using AI and understanding why it was useful? So this has been a big part of this type of assessment. Okay, Hannah, back on to you.
Thank you. So to be more specific, we've created 4 pieces of assessment for the year, so 2 per semester. One is goal and planning, so the students can use AI for that. One is a poster assignment, so they can use Canva or whatever they like, ChatGPT, Copilot. They can use a video assignment. That's what Cornelia mentioned more specifically about the using Copilot with assessing the accent, and also a so-called elevator page. So we've got 4 very creative, and all of them are geared towards reflecting upon the experience abroad, but also employability skills and how can they transfer them to the job market later on. So is it a cheat or is it a treat? So together with our library, IT services, and the Center for Innovative Education and Careers, we have developed ways to support the use of AI ethically. So we have devised skills on how to quote it, how to quote prompts, etc. And it's a skill that's definitely needed for future job markets and universities. And we need to prepare undergraduates because employers simply expect it. So that was very brief, and we're over now for Q&A because I think that was part of the plan. So open to questions and comments with our assessment for the year abroad and whether it's a cheat or a treat. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That was really, really great. It was a great start to the webinar. So thank you. So I've got a couple of questions, if that's okay, and then maybe John, if it's okay, can I come to you just to read out some of the Q&A? But before we kind of come to you, John, I'll just ask this question, if that's okay. So when you were talking about kind of how the plan worked, did you say that you generated the feedback based upon the students' video initially and then passed that to the students, or was it the students that were kind of generating their own feedback?
Yeah, so Hannah, I'll just go with this. So we were trying to figure out a couple of ways. One, where AI could generate the feedback and also allow academics as well that support with part of the assessment. So the Copilot, what will happen is, so the students record themselves on video. This is for the video assignment part of the assessment, by the way, because we have 4 different assessments, but this is the one that's very AI driven. And the idea is the students record themselves speaking, basically answering questions which Hannah will write about reflecting on their time abroad. Those questions, then they have to download their transcript from the video. And that transcript is then copied into Copilot. What I have pulled together, is the prompt that they have to put into Copilot, okay. And then that prompt generates the feedback, and it's through that feedback they then reflect.
Okay. No, that sounds good. Thank you.
If I may add to this, they reflect on it, but Copilot isn't perfect. So, for example, any native speaker will get some feedback from Copilot saying your accent is that or the other. Like I've got an Austrian accent, so they will criticize that. But they can reflect how useful is it, because that's the point. It's ethical, isn't it? They give you this feedback. Don't take it for granted. Research it and comment on it and reflect on it. So that's the whole point of what we're trying to teach them as well.
Well, I guess linked to that, Marion's asked a question in the Q&A, which I think is a good one. And actually, just on that, if you see a question in the Q&A, this is to everyone. There's a button within each question where you can upvote it. So do that, and then it will kind of go up, and then we can see those. But Marion has asked a question. How did you evaluate Copilot's ability of assessing accents?
So sorry, do you want to say that, Hannah?
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say this was probably one of the most challenging parts of the assessment, was finding out the appropriate AI platform. So again, we are quite fortunate at the university where we have quite a lot of members of staff with various native tongue. So we had to work with our Centre of Innovation and basically test quite a few AI different platforms using Hannah and a couple of other colleagues in testing by doing a video of themselves, conversational, and we would put various videos up, and then that was where we kind of sifted it down to Copilot. We do actually have a platform already at the University of Liverpool which does feedback through our own platform. However, it doesn't work very well with any other language spoken other than English. And this was what was the challenge. So Copilot, through many, many different tests, was probably what we felt the most effective in being able to pick up on all those different languages and the accents.
Oh, well, that's good. And I assume that you have an institutional kind of license with Copilot, or how does that work?
Yes, because it's part of the Microsoft package. If I may add to this, lots of our graduates actually go over to working for AI. So it's a little bit, they're half abolishing their own job, but they're also finding lots of jobs. But because they've already been exposed to that, they've criticized it, they used it. So they're actually highly employable because AI companies, I've got an Austrian accent when I speak English, any sort of a transcription with Teams or whatever points out that I make lots of mistakes. But the accents are going to be picked up, not only English accents, whether that's Welsh or Scottish or Australian, but also foreign accents, like, I don't know, Finnish accent or Mexican accent. So our graduates actually find jobs in that, which is highly exciting at the moment to work in this field.
Oh, thank you. I think we've probably got time for one or two more questions, and I've just seen one that's getting quite a few thumbs up, so I'll ask that one. I'm sorry, John, I did say I was going to come to you, and then maybe we'll go to Mike if we've got time. So a message from Jessica. Are there any students who objected to using AI on ethical grounds? So, for example, environmental impact or unethical labour practices, for example?
Yes, and I think that's a valid point, because my heart is beating very greenly as well. That's definitely a point. However, unfortunately, as a higher education institute, we cannot ignore it. AI is out there, and employers expect linguists to use that. I appreciate those comments, because also I think they can feed it back to employers and say, well, actually, do we have to do everything with AI? Because like every ChatGPT prompt costs like 500 milliliters of drinking water. So I do appreciate it. There's some opposition. We're looking at alternatives for those who really refuse it, also because, with AI, obviously, it's never 100% data protected, so if they give away their own experience abroad or whatever, yes. To be honest, we don't have a plan B yet, because at the moment we create it this way, but we will create a plan B for those students who actually oppose it. Yes, absolutely justified questions. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you to both of you. Sorry, Mike, we've reached time, but I know there's a question in the Q&A. So Hannah and Cornelia, maybe if you could have a look through the Q&A just to kind of look at some of these great questions in there. And if we don't get through all of them, we will try to get back to you with a reply. So thank you to both of you. A really great start to the webinar.
Thank you.